Think about the last time it happened. That feeling of free fall. It's never just one thing, is it? It's the bad news from your boss, followed by a fight with your partner, followed by an unexpected bill you can't pay, all hitting you in the same 24-hour period. It feels like the universe has singled you out for a special kind of punishment. The waves are crashing over the deck. The wind is tearing at the sails. Your mind is screaming, "We are going down." This is the feeling of chaos. It's the feeling of being utterly overwhelmed, powerless, and at the mercy of forces far greater than you. In that moment of panic, our modern world offers us very little in the way of real help. It tells us to distract ourselves, to think positive, or to simply have a meltdown. But what if there was another way? What if the storm itself isn't the real enemy? What if the key to survival isn't a calmer sea, but a better captained ship? The ancient Stoics were masters of this. They were not philosophers who sat in quiet rooms. They were generals, politicians, and artists who lived in the heart of the chaotic Roman Empire. And the greatest of them all, the Emperor Marcus Aurelius, captained the biggest ship of all through some of the worst storms in history. He dealt with war, plague, betrayal, and the crushing weight of ruling the known world. And from the heart of that chaos, he wrote down in his private journal the single most powerful principle for staying calm. This is the foundation of the entire Stoic survival guide. He wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. This is the diagnosis. This is the secret. The storm is not the problem. Your panic about the storm is the problem. The external event, the thing itself, the wind, the waves, the bad news is neutral. It is just raw data. It has no inherent power to cause you pain. The pain, the distress, the suffering is created entirely by your estimate of it, your judgment, your story, the narrative you spin in your own head. Modern psychology has a name for this: cognitive reappraisal. It's the ability to change your emotional response to a situation by changing the way you think about it. Marcus Aurelius was, in effect, a pioneer of this. He understood that between the external event and your emotional response, there is a space. And in that space lies your power. The power to choose your estimate. Let's make this brutally practical. The stock market crashes 20%. That is the thing itself. It is an objective, external event. The estimate of the unstoic panic mind is, "This is a catastrophe. I'm ruined. My future is over." This estimate, this story, creates the feelings of panic, fear, and despair. It leads to the disastrous action of selling everything at the bottom. The estimate of the Stoic mind is different. The market is cyclical. This is a significant downturn. My net worth on paper has decreased. That is the fact. Notice the lack of drama. The Stoic then chooses a more rational estimate. My worth as a human being is not tied to this number. If I have prepared for this, it may be an opportunity. If I have not, this is a harsh but valuable lesson in risk management. The event is the same. The estimate determines whether you experience a soul-crushing catastrophe or a difficult but manageable problem. So if our estimate is the problem, how do we forge a better one? How do we build the mental anchor that will hold us steady when the storm hits? The Stoics gave us a practical, no BS toolkit for this. This is how you forge the anchor. Tool number 1, practice objective description. This is the first and most critical step. When chaos hits, your mind will immediately start telling you a horror story. Your job is to interrupt that storyteller and become a cold, dispassionate journalist. You must describe the event in the most objective, factual language possible, stripped of all emotional drama. Your mind screams, "My company is imploding and my career is over." You correct it out loud if you have to. The company missed its quarterly earnings target and is undergoing a restructuring. My role may be affected. That is the fact. Your mind screams, "She's breaking up with me. My life is meaningless without her." You correct it. She said she needs space and is uncertain about our future. That is the fact. This practice creates a critical distance between you and the event. It allows your rational mind to get a foothold. It's about seeing the wave as just a wave, a temporary formation of water, not as a personal monster sent to destroy you. You cannot form a good estimate until you have a clear picture of the thing itself. Tool number 2, the Captain's Creed, the dichotomy of control. Now that you have the objective facts, you must perform triage. This is the core of Stoic practice. In any situation, you draw a hard line between what you can control and what you cannot. The captain of a ship does not control the sea. He doesn't control the wind, the waves, or the fog. To waste even 1 second of energy raging against the weather is to be an amateur. What does the captain control? The rudder, the sails, the discipline of his crew, his own focus, his own courage. A good captain ignores the sea and focuses relentlessly on the ship. In your life storm, you must do the same. Make 2 lists in your head or on paper. Things I cannot control: the economy, other people's reactions, the past. Things I can control: my response, my effort, my integrity, my next action. Pour every single ounce of your energy into that second list. The storm is what it is. Your job is to captain your ship. Tool number 3, the view from above, the crow's nest. This was Marcus Aurelius' secret weapon for shrinking his problems. When he felt overwhelmed by the chaos of war and politics, he would climb to a mental crow's nest. He would zoom out. He would get perspective. From this vantage point, you see your perfect storm for what it is: a small, temporary squall in a vast, indifferent ocean. You see your life on the vast timeline of human history. You see the planet Earth as a tiny speck in the cosmos. From this height, your urgent, all-consuming crisis shrinks to its proper, insignificant size. This is not to say your problems don't matter. It is to say that they are not the all-encompassing catastrophe your frightened mind estimates them to be. This practice breaks the emotional intensity and allows your rational mind to come back online. Let's look at a historical masterclass in this philosophy. The story of Ernest Shackleton and his ship, the Endurance. In 1915, his ship became trapped and was then slowly, violently crushed by pack ice in Antarctica. He and his 27 men were stranded, thousands of miles from civilization, in the most hostile environment on Earth. Everything, in the most literal sense, was falling apart. Shackleton, as the captain, was the anchor for every man there. His external situation was a complete disaster, but his internal state was one of unshakable calm. What did he do? First, he practiced objective description. He didn't say, "We are doomed." He gathered the men and said, with brutal honesty, "The ship is gone, so now we are going home." He stated the fact and immediately reframed it into a new mission. Second, he focused relentlessly on what he could control. He couldn't control the ice, the freezing temperatures, or the fact that they were hopelessly lost, but he could control the crew's morale. He could control the daily routines. He could control the rationing of food. He could control his own attitude. He made sure the men kept their scientific logs, played football on the ice, and maintained their military discipline. These small acts of order were the anchor in the face of total, chaotic disorder. For almost 2 years, through a series of harrowing journeys in small lifeboats across the world's most dangerous seas, Shackleton held his crew together. He never lost his composure. He never gave in to despair. And in the end, he did not lose a single man. His life is perhaps the greatest testament to the fact that our circumstances do not define us. The storm does not determine the outcome. The captain does. So, When the storm hits your life, remember your training. Remember that storms are a guaranteed part of the human experience. You cannot avoid them. The only variable is the quality of your anchor. This anchor is not something you are born with. It is something you forge. You forge it with every objective description you practice. You forge it every time you distinguish between what you can and cannot control. You forge it every time you take the view from above. You forge it in the small squalls of daily life, the traffic jams, the annoying emails, so that when the hurricane arrives, you are ready. Remember the words of the emperor, the ultimate survival guide for the soul. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. The storm is not the problem. Your panic is the problem. Your estimate is the problem. But that is the good news, because your estimate is the one thing that is always and forever in your power. The storm is here. It's always here. Stop wishing for a calmer sea. Start building a better ship and forging a stronger anchor. Thank you for joining us at the Inner Citadel. If this helped you find your anchor, hit the like button and subscribe for more tools to build an unshakable mind. We'll see you next time.